very, very special guest with us tonight, Miss Melissa Hadley. That's how you pronounce your last name. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, you guys. She is a combined 11-star diamond coach. She signed up in March of 2012, and she is a Success Club All-Star Legend, 10 legend. So that's 24 months of Success Club 10, which is amazing. And 2-time elite. So that's also super amazing. That means she's helping her team like crazy. So I'm not going to waste any more time. Me babbling, I'm just going to hand it all over to you. So take it away.
All right. Well, thank you for inviting me to the call on the call. Excuse my appearance. This is just how I am 24/7. So I wasn't I just got off my bike and I'm like, I don't have time to shower. So this is me. Again, my name is Melissa Hadley, and all that stuff is true. I never imagined ever this business being what it is for me today. I was one of those people that said, I'm not going to work the business. I just want to be healthy and get things under control. And that all changed. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Anybody that says that they're not going to work this business are typically the people that end up working this business. So when you're thinking about placement of people, there you go. So a little bit about me. Back in high school, I was over 200 pounds. And this is going to be the fast version of my history. I was over 200 pounds. And some of you might have seen me speak at Summit. If you were on the Blue Track, was it Blue Track? I think so. I was on stage telling my story. But so if this is a repeat for you, I'm sorry. But back in high school, over 200 pounds, I tried to lose the weight, and I did for a little while. I did it by eating fat-free food, not eating enough food, considering Sour Patch Kids a meal, and foot-long veggie subs on whole wheat bread with mustard, no cheese, Subway, considering those a meal. And that's how I lost weight. It worked, but it was short-term, and it ended up wreaking havoc on my body, which I'll tell you about in a little bit. Fast forward to college, I had kind of fluctuated with my weight a little bit after high school and losing all of it. And then I started to date a personal trainer, and I started to get involved in the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. I decided I'm going to do a triathlon. I got something in the mail to do a triathlon with them. And I thought, why not? And one day on the bike ride, the training ride, my coach said, what is wrong with it? Like, I couldn't move my legs anymore. And it was because I wasn't giving my body the food that I needed. He said to me, what have you eaten today? And I said, a bag of Sour Patch Kids and a foot-long veggie sub from Subway. And he said, that's not enough food, and nor is it the right kind of food to be eating. So that was my first introduction to all of that. And he introduced me to Body for Life. Who's heard of Body for Life? Like, that's old school, carb and a protein at every meal. And then one day a week you can, have whatever you want and stuff your face. And I did. I would eat cheesecake. I would go to McDonald's. Everything I could eat on that one day I would, and I would get so sick, which was probably part of the whole plan. So he's now my ex, but the personal trainer, he was telling me the whole time, you need to be eating enough. But it wasn't so much for me eating enough that wasn't the issue at that point. It was quality food. Because like I said, I was eating anything I could get my hands on that was low calorie or low fat. I was drinking diet soda like it was going out of style. I was putting Splenda in my coffee because it was calorie free. And so now fast forward to me training for marathons. Nothing that I ever thought I would ever do. And but I remember in high school, one of my good friends telling me at the Boston Marathon, I live in Massachusetts, We would go to the marathon all the time because it was in our backyard pretty much. And I said to her, I'm going to run this someday. And she looked at me up and down and she's like, really? You? And it was just, I've never forgotten that. I'm 34 years old now. I was probably 16 when that happened. And I'll never forget it. And since then, I've run 7 marathons, a half Ironman. But that's my driver, just to prove to myself that I can do it. But in the process of training for all these things, I wasn't doing it the right way. I gained back some weight, and then I lost, and then I gained, and then I lost. And then in 2009, now at this point, I've met my now husband. I became a personal trainer. I thought I had my crap together. And in 2009, I was actually qualified to run Boston. So I'm in the middle of training. We had just bought our new house, and I thought I had life by the proverbial. I had life, and I woke up one day in February or it was the end of January 2009, and I couldn't feel my feet, and I didn't know why. I thought maybe it's because I was training and running in the snow, and anything I could grasp, I was like, I'm fine. I worked for a health insurance company for a long time, like 10 years or something. So any story that I ever heard from any of our clients, any of our members, came running through my head. I'm like, what do I have? What do I have? And I started to WebMD it. And then I worked with a hypochondriac, and she was a very nice lady, super hypochondriac. Her doctor was WebMD. And she said, I think you have MS. And I said, I think you're crazy, because I was 28. I was turning 28 years old. I'm like, there's no way. I'm healthy. I've lost 60 pounds. There's no way I have MS. I was at my healthiest weight. And because at the time, all that mattered to me was losing weight. Like, I didn't care about my insides. I just cared what I looked like and what size pants I was wearing. And that caught up to me. And in February, about a week before my 28th birthday, I got a phone call. In this process, I had called my doctor and said, I need to see a neurologist. He didn't think I needed to, because he thought I was healthy too. And I said, something's wrong. And I got the phone call while I was at work, and the doctor said, you have MS. And it completely changed my life. I went from caring about what size pants I was wearing to, what am I going to do? I'm getting married this year. I was graduating with my master's degree. I was going to run the Boston Marathon 2 months after that. And we were going to try to have a baby, like right after we got married. Like, that was the plan. 2009 was my year. And it was starting off on not such a great foot. And I just dropped to my knees in my cubicle, and I started to ask God, why me? Like, why me? I was healthy. But it was that day. So I was in the hospital for a few days, and they confirmed the diagnosis. I went to Boston. The doctors in Boston wanted to put me on medication. And remember, I worked at a health insurance company. I knew a lot about medications. And that's not to say that medications don't have their time or their place. They do, but they don't have their time or their place in my body. So I declined medications. I have, the only thing I've done are some steroid treatments whenever I have a flare, but I haven't had a flare in 3 years, and I'll get to why. So diagnosed with MS, I cut out all artificial sweeteners. I cut out soy for other reasons. I cut out just anything that was going to be a catalyst to my MS. And doctors can tell us all they want that it's not the food, which is crazy. I am convinced that if I had known then what I know now, I might not have MS. I would probably still, I wouldn't have had the symptoms as raging as they were. I believe wholeheartedly that what I was doing to my body to try to lose weight was the catalyst for my symptoms coming out. The actual explosion happened because of stress. So all of that together, and here we are. So I got married that year. Life went on. It took a lot of internal struggle. It was a lot of struggle that year to get past the diagnosis, but I handled it, got married, and we got pregnant right away, which was a blessing. And I gained back every single pound I had lost. So I was over 200 pounds when I had my son. And I looked in the mirror, and if you go to my Facebook page, my banner photo has my before and after. And that before photo, I remember taking it, thinking to myself, I hate where I have gotten. Like, I lost myself again. And it wasn't for not trying. Like, I went to the gym every single day up until like 3 days before I gave birth. I ate decent. I didn't have nothing with sweeteners, nothing like that. But I would eat watermelon, like an entire watermelon every single day. And it was because I was dehydrated, clearly. But all that sugar gained all my weight back, which was a problem once my son was born. In 2010, he was born, and I nursed him for 13 months, couldn't lose any of the weight. It was driving me insane. And finally, when I took that before photo, I was like, this enough is enough. I was a personal trainer. I have MS. Like, I needed to get my stuff together. And so I bought insanity off of Craigslist. And so there's another lesson. Don't ever discount those people, because you never know. So I started a blog. Insanity sat in my closet for a while, bought it off of Craigslist. So there it sat. And then January 1st rolled around, and I'm like, I'm going to start a blog, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make it public. So I did. I put it on Facebook, and one of my college friends, her sister, reached out to me, and she's like, she had been reaching out to me a couple months prior to this because she knew I had MS, and she knew that Shakeology would probably help me. And I told her to stay away from me with that stuff, because I said that kind of stuff, I believe, caused my MS or was a catalyst for it. I don't know what causes MS, but to me, that's, the chemicals and all those drinks that I had had before were the catalyst. And so I told her to stay away from me. But every month, she would consistently message me and say, I really think you should try it. So, but during that time, I was researching it. I didn't tell her I was researching it. I just said, stay away. And I was pretty savvy with nutrition and so I just kept researching. Now she sees me posting about insanity. And so she's like, I really think you should become a coach. And I said, a coach? I'm like 199 pounds. How am I going to be a coach? Like, I can't even coach myself right now. And she said, you already have a following you. You should really consider it. And I said, no. And then finally in March of 2012, I said, I'll try a bag. Don't even talk to me about coaching. I'll buy the bag, and if I like it, then I'll do it. She's like, you're going to regret it. Just buy a challenge pack now because you're going to end up wasting money. And I said, I am not doing it. I will buy a bag. And that's what I did. I bought a bag. Now at this point, my MS was getting worse. It wasn't getting better, despite my efforts with clean eating and some exercise. Wasn't getting better, it was getting worse, which was discouraging. My eyesight started to go. You can go blind with MS. And so my left eyesight it was like I was seeing big black spots everywhere. They were big. They were like not little dots. They were just big. And that's the one thing I always said. If I started to lose my eyesight, I would consider taking medication. And so I went to the doctor and I said, I just want to try this one last thing before you push a med on me. And he thought I was crazy. And that's when I bought my bag of Shakeology. And 3 weeks later, Not saying it's a cure, because it's not a cure. I still have MS, but my eyesight was perfectly fine. Any numbness that I had was gone, and it's been gone ever since. So that was 3.5 years ago. Call me crazy, but that's the only thing different that I did. I was eating clean before. I was exercising. Shakeology is the only thing that was different. But like I said, I still have MS. I've had one flare, now two, and I'll explain. So I had one flare when I was super stressed about stuff, and as soon as I got rid of that stuff, it went away. So it was like a week-long flare, and that was it. And then this weekend, I did a 200-mile relay race, and you don't sleep, and it was 100 degrees, not even kidding. And so when I ran my 8 miles, in the heat can really exacerbate symptoms. That's why I don't exercise in the heat, but I had to, and I had a flare up, but it went away right away. So that's it. In 3.5 years, I'll take that. A lot of people with MS can't even walk, so I run for those who can't. So with that said, Shakeology has changed my entire life, and I just started to post about it. That was it. I just started to get raw and real and tell my story, and that's what's led to my success. And obviously helping my team succeed as well. Lead with your heart, and the rest just happens. Obviously you have to do your invites, and you have to, personal development is key, but telling your story is key as well. Posting that before and after photo. I never, ever thought that my before and after would be my profile photo at one point in time. Like, never. But people need to know where you started, because they are there right now. Don't be afraid. And I tell my team all the time, I'm like, you don't have to have this big story. In fact, I hope you don't have a story like mine. I hope it's a different story. But some people think that having IBS isn't a big story. Guess what? It is, because there's a lot of people that struggle with that. But you don't see a lot of people posting on Facebook, hey, I have IBS, help me. Like, you just have to be able to talk about how it's helped you. And if it's helped you with that, talk about that. If it's helped you with anxiety, talk about that. If it's helped you with high cholesterol, talk about that. There's no story that's too small. And if you're listening to this and you just started and you're like, I don't have a story, you do. Your page 1 is being written. And so you need to talk about that, because there's somebody else that's waiting to write their first page too. And without you helping them be their own author, they're not going to start, or they're going to start and it's going to be too late. So that's my advice on telling your story. Is that okay?
Yes, amazing. Just amazing. I was getting chill bumps like the whole time. It was amazing. And the story is super, super powerful. People connect with you and your story, and you relate to people when you tell, like you said, your raw story, and just being you. And I thought that was super amazing. And I know someone has to have a question, if you're open for a few more minutes.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Don't be shy.
Yeah, don't be shy. One other thing I wanted to add is, like, you got to tell the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like, I have my days where I have a glass or 2 of wine, and people think I'm like this perfect person because I'm a Beachbody coach, or I'm a personal trainer, or I'm into nutrition, whatever. I'm human. Like, and people need to know that you're human. If you mess up, you mess up. Like, and it's not even a mess up. It's just, you're being human. So tell the good, the bad, and the ugly, and be raw. I also tell my coaches, I'm like, your Facebook is your own little sitcom. I don't know about you, but I always wanted to be on a reality TV show. Didn't happen. So I make my Facebook my own little TV show. And do that because people want to tune in. They want to see, like, people like reality TV because they're interested in people. Like, they want to know what's going on, even though reality TV is so not even real. You are. So make it even better.
I love that. Be your own Kardashian show.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Anybody? Somebody? Billy? Here you go.
Hey, Melissa, just curious, was there any history of MS in your family before?
No, so they don't know what causes it, but they do know that it's not genetic. But I don't know. MS goes undiagnosed so often. It's probably in my family somewhere, but a lot of times it doesn't go diagnosed. These days, though, every time you turn around, somebody's being diagnosed. So it's something to keep in mind when you're talking to people. And if anybody on the call is talking to somebody who has MS, the first question, obviously be very timid about it, or tread lightly, not timid, just tread lightly, because a lot of them have physical ailments that they can't do, like insanity. Obviously, we wouldn't recommend insanity to be a first thing, but they might have drop foot, meaning that they drag their foot behind them. So obviously they can't be jumping. So you just want to ask, do you have any physical limitations that would prevent you from exercise? Some people, you wouldn't even know that they have it. Like when I'm walking up, people don't know I have MS, but they do because I'm all over social media about it. But just tread lightly with it. But to answer your question, no, nobody that I know of has it.
Because it's interesting that my mom actually has it, and I think she was probably 28 when she first came up with it, and then she had where a part of her body went numb and things like that. And she's still alive. She's doing pretty decent. She's legally blind, but I was just trying to understand a little bit more, but I've never had any problems.
That's good. And I'm sorry to hear that she has it. It's differently. So you could have somebody that has, my lesions are everywhere, like down my spine and in my brain. They're everywhere. But they don't affect me. You could have somebody like me who has the same lesions, who can't walk, who can't see, like who's wheelchair bound. And the doctors told me, they said, you belong in a wheelchair. I don't know how you're even walking in here. And I said, I don't know, but I am. And I honestly consider my MS a blessing. I'm a Christian. I believe that God has a purpose for every single person on this earth. And my purpose is to use my MS to inspire others and to help them see that no matter how bad the circumstances are, that you can overcome, and you can just be somebody who you never thought you could be. So I applaud anybody with any condition that can push through, because it's not easy, no matter what the condition. And I get, they do say, back to your genetic question, that MS can hit the firstborn son. That's what they're looking at. And I have a son, so he's getting pumped full of vitamin D every single day, and he drinks his Shakeology every day. But I don't think they'll ever know. It's one of those things.
Anybody else have any questions? Ooh, background.
I do.
Sure.
I think for me, in the background. I have been struggling lately for over. And I kind of get in the about 5 pounds. I feel like I don't really know what my for. I guess I'm because I've already.
I'm having a hard time hearing you. I don't know if is it me?
Jen, can you type your question?
Sure.
Sorry.
It's funny, Melissa. I'm the firstborn.
And see, you don't have it.
Nope.
God.
Nope. 51 years old and doing well.
Awesome. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, you just never know. I don't even pay attention to the stats anymore. It just withdraws from my positive bank. I don't have time. You struggle with finding your story because you hit your goal weight. So do you feel like because you hit your goal weight, you don't have any more of a story to tell? Okay. So I would just dig back deep and figure out what made you reach out to your coach, whether it's Natalie or whoever. What made you reach out to that person in the first place and go back to your original why? You have a story. Now you have to figure out why you want to keep your goal weight. What typically drives you back to going towards your start weight? You know what I mean? Like for me, back to that girl who told me that I would never run the marathon. That's just one of my drivers to running more races, because I want to prove to myself that I can do it. I want to prove to my son that I can do it. And that's all part of my story. The other parts of my story are, I was always teased in high school. I was mooed at and oinked at in the hallways. Like, it goes deep. And the more you share with people, the more people you're going to relate to. So really your story focuses around your why. So you have a why for your business, and you have a why for wanting to stay fit and healthy. So just because you've reached your goal weight, that's part of your story, which is awesome. Now, what's your reason for wanting to stay there? It's not so you can fit into a pair of skinny jeans this fall. It's so that you can be around for the people in your life, or whatever it is, so that you can help inspire more people, because fill in the blank. So I always tell my coaches, I'm like, dig really deep. Your business why and your fitness why go hand in hand. So it takes journaling a lot to really dig down. But you do have a story. Every single one of us has a story. You might not have uncovered it yet, which is exciting, because once you do, you'll be like, whoa, this is awesome. I hope that helps.
All right. So because of the background. Oh my goodness.
I can't hear it now.
Can you not?
I can't hear it.
Okay. It's still going back. I don't know. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna have to talk to you.
You're very welcome. I was going to type it, but you can hear me. Have a great night, everybody. Bye.